Mr. Brad.
What's up, my friend?
How are
How
you?
are you? Good.
I'm doing okay. I'm, living the day to fight the battle, but it's
Yeah.
I've got tools in my bag, so break out those tools and go
A little,
through every
little,
day.
little bit different, huh?
A lot different. A lot
Well,
different.
good. Well, good.
Yes.
It's like you got
So
a good little garage office there, huh?
I was mowing my grass and it started to rain and I pulled into my garage. Well, I didn't pull in. I pulled into my other garage and put the mower away and I just came sat in this one. This I like to say used to be my garage.
Yeah.
Um, but other members of the family have taken it over.
That's all right. It's like our bridge office.
Yes. Yes, yes. How's the weather out there?
Good. We had one day where it cooled off to about 65, got a little bit of overcast and rained a little bit. It was supposed to rain more, but it didn't. So today, I'm not sure what today was. Today was probably low 80s.
We were about the same here. We were about 83. It rained in the morning, and it's raining a little right now. Um, but that's really about it. Yesterday, it rained like cats and dogs all day long,
Yeah.
and yeah, it
Actually,
made for awful mowing tonight.
actually, no, it was only in the 70s today.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was pretty nice.
So I had a good week um, away after I left the
Yeah.
Brits.
Yeah.
Um, I of course went for the track ride in the Ferrari, which was just time of my life, Brad. Um,
Awesome.
I was at 136 miles per hour on that short track, and he was like, "Brake, brake," and I'm sitting there thinking, "Nope, nope, nope."
Nope.
So right now I'm number two for speed on the track at 136 miles per hour. I'm tied with three other guys. There's
Nice.
one person ahead of us that was averaging 138 miles per hour. Um, it's been what 3 weeks, so I'm still there.
That's
Um,
awesome. So
and the
that's
track,
average speed over how many laps?
um, no, let me back up. It wasn't average speed; it was my highest speed
Oh, your highest speed. Okay.
over the. So what they do is they only monitor your speed and your time each lap. So the other laps don't count.
Gotcha. Then just take your
So
highest lap.
correct. So I was smoking pretty hard and he didn't say a whole lot, and all of a sudden I started to see like the sea was parting in front of me of the other cars. They were like
Yeah.
getting out of the way, but I didn't realize he was telling everyone to get out of the way because I had a shot at this record.
Gotcha.
And I had no idea. I was just going fast, is the way I was looking at it.
That's
And
funny.
yeah, and then I took a ride as a passenger in the Hellcat, and that was
Nice.
a drift. That was a drift car. So we're going around the curves, and I looked to my right, and I could see the tail end of the vehicle sliding. I could see it was like to my right hand. I felt like I could reach out and touch it.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's why I sent you that picture as I was coming back from California, drove into town. So hi Ricky. How are you?
Hey, Brad, good to see you.
Glad you were able to join.
Yeah, me
You might
too.
you might be the only one tonight. So you've got you got a couple experts here, some veterans of the bridge who are available to answer any and all questions. Do you have a chance to talk to Kim today?
I did. Yeah. Thank you again
Good.
for giving me her number.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Kim, as she probably told you, is a St. George local.
Yeah, she
She,
did. And I'm like, that was convenient.
yeah, only like 7 minutes away from where we are. So that was great. Hi, Megan.
Hi. So,
Looks like you're not driving.
yeah, my other session got canceled tonight. Craig had something come up, so he postponed us. I was like, oh, that's even better. So we just went for a walk and I was able to jump on right away.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. I don't want to keep everybody too late. Rikki and I have had a chance to talk on the phone. She's looking at the bridge as a potential landing spot, and so just let me kind of, Rikki, I'll just kind of reiterate what tonight's about. We started doing this Zoom session. I think I started this about a little over 3 years ago, and mostly because I wake up every day, probably like at 3 o'clock in the morning, and my mind is just going. And for some reason that morning I was just thinking, if I was someone thinking about going to a location like the bridge, who would I most want to talk to? And of course, the obvious answer was someone who's been to the bridge as a guest who isn't a staff member. And then, of course, the next question was, well, what's the best delivery of that? And of course, the Zoom was the best option. And so we started doing that. And it's worked out really well. This is what I really like about tonight is we like to keep it pretty casual. Tonight isn't about a sales pitch. We're not interested in trying to sell anybody on the bridge. We want, and I know Joe and Megan will do this. We want to keep things as transparent and honest and direct as we can. As they'll express, coming to the bridge is a big investment of time, energy, and money. And we want to make sure that whoever's thinking about coming to the bridge has all the information we can possibly give them. It's never going to be perfect. We represent as much as we can, and some of it's just discovery when you get here. But so tonight, again, think of this as just an information moment. It's not about a sales pitch. We're not going to ask Rikki for your credit card and get you signed up. We're not going to send you like that. We're just here to answer any questions, concerns that you have. And I will say that Joe was with us last session.
Oh, cool.
And Joe's there in Pennsylvania, and he was actually on this Zoom call before he came. Megan wasn't because, man, she it was like the night before.
No. Haley was the one who was the night before. I did the Zoom call before.
Oh, did you? Oh, that's right. You were on with your mom.
Yeah.
You were on your mom.
My mom came on with me, and then my son was there too. So
that's right. Your mom had to take you. Yeah, your mom took your son. That's right. It was Haley. So,
yeah.
So what we're gonna do, now is I just want Megan and Joe just to take maybe 30 seconds to a minute. We'll have a chance to hear more of their story, just where you're from, what brought you to the bridge, and what session were you in when you came. So we'll start with Joe, since you're at the top of my screen.
Hello, I'm Joe Ratura. I was in last session. The sessions go way too fast. It was life changing for me, more than I could ever explain. And I don't know what else to say other than the entire staff and our entire group of folks were at the point where I hope I know all of these people the rest of my life. So I'll tell you more later, but I guess it's time for is it Megan to jump on?
And Joe, what just generally brought you to the bridge? You came for?
I came for. I couldn't handle everything that was going on in my life. I have probably one of the most charmed lives of people you would ever meet. Financially stable. I have great wife and two adult children. I have a business that's very successful. And for some reason, I'm trapped in this loop of it's all terrible, and I couldn't get rid of it. And I have been one of the biggest champions of a positive mind my whole life, and I somehow my mind pushed it out of me, and the bridge was able to find it again for me. And like I said, it was life changing.
Thank you, Joe.
You bet.
That's amazing,
Megan.
Joe. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Uh, I'm Megan. I am from Wright City, Missouri, a small little town about an hour outside of St. Louis. And I think what I initially went for was postpartum and anxiety. But then once you're there, Rikki, you'll start realizing you're there for a lot of other things that you just start uncovering and start as you start digging through all the baggage you carry with you. Prior to going, I felt like I had I'd reached my like wits end. I felt like I had tried everything. I had tried talk therapy, I had tried massage therapy, I had tried retail therapy, I had tried um I I just felt like I had tried everything. I didn't know what to do and I was at my wits end. I found myself at there was that night where 11 o'clock at night I'm online and just like what do I do? Like, I cannot continue to feel this way. I cannot continue to battle this. And you feel, I don't know what you're going for, but you start to feel alone and you feel hopeless almost. And I was just looking for an answer, and somehow the bridge found me. And then I was trying to find something else. I was like, man, this place is far away. Like, this is far away. And then you start looking at everything else, and it was just clicking. For me, it had a little bit of everything. I'm looking at the stuff online. It seems too good to be true. And it did move fast. It was about a week and a half later I was there. But it just, and I was very skeptical, but Brad immediately, he it was on a Monday or Tuesday night, and then he said, "Oh, you can join on Thursday night." Um, I had my son wasn't even two yet, so my mom joined. You know, I'm leaving my son behind, my husband behind. My mom got on here with me because she just wanted to make sure. I mean, with all the stuff out there in the world, like this isn't some internet scam or something crazy. Brad was nice enough. He found another mom to be on the call with me, and she was able to like give me some like really close advice, like coming from a female and from a fellow mom. But yeah, it's been life changing. I was there in October. So it was October 20th to November 9th, coming home like right before the holidays, like Thanksgiving and Christmas. And it's a hard time of the year. Coming home, it was hard. Uh, I am a totally different person than when I left, and I can honestly say it's just like Joe said, it's life changing. Best decision I've ever made in my entire life, and I can't suggest it enough.
Megan,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I got to interject.
yeah.
Every single thing you said is so 1000% true. It's almost mirrored to what I was thinking in my mind.
So, and you'll start to find like when you get there, it's like Joe said, like you start to meet these people, and like I have chills saying it right now. You between the staff and like you don't even start to know the difference anymore. You're just there with everyone and your friends, and it's like all these like-minded people. Like I felt so alone in the world before I went, and then I came back, and it's like all of a sudden I have this community, and then you start coming back and realizing what you went through, how many people around you in your own life are actually going through it. They just didn't get the opportunity to go to the bridge or do something, and it's opened up my life here at home to do it. Like to things I never thought I would do. It's wild. That's all I've got to say.
Hey,
So
hey,
sorry, Brad. Yeah.
hey, Megan. So clearly, it's a difficult decision. there's a lot to consider. And I know you said you were skeptical.
Yeah.
I remember it was you, right? You were telling me that you actually got onto
LinkedIn.
Psychology Today? No, LinkedIn. Okay.
I got on Psychology Today. I went through all of your guys' testimonials and videos and was like making sure that they weren't AI generated videos. And then I was like Googling, this is my investigative side. I'm like Googling names to make sure there's actual like doctorate degrees or like these are legit people and jobs. And then I went as far to get on LinkedIn and I even contacted Dr. Tate and Dave
Oh,
Holden,
that's right.
and had Dave, he's one of the therapists there, came back and they all validated that this is a real place and a real thing. The address when I first looked at it, because you guys are stayed at a different address than like, because now they're officially, but we were the last session in the rental. So then I was like, oh, this is a rental address. That got me skeptical. I even went as far to like call them and get Darren verified to make sure like this isn't something. It
Yeah.
just seemed too good to be true. You look at the pictures, you look at everything, and you're like, there's no way. This can't really exist, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
I
I think
want to
that's
send my wife and my two kids, the adult kids, to the bridge,
mhm.
yeah.
and just to experience what we went through,
Yeah.
and it makes anyone's life better.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Joe. And yeah, Megan, that's always a funny story.
Sorry,
So
yeah.
no, I
Uh,
love
That was
it.
my investigative side. I always say I was a PI in my other
No,
life.
I think it's great. I think people need to hear that. So Rikki, this is your time. This is about you. Give it to us. Give us the softball questions. Give us the hard questions. Give us your concerns. Let's open this up for you and get you the information that you think you need.
Perfect. Thank you, Brad. Yeah, I can give you guys just a little bit of a synopsis of what I'm going through. I definitely have anxiety and OCD and mental health issues in spades. But the primary thing that I am trying to get healing from is some like physical health conditions. Um, I don't need to go into a ton of detail there, but so I think I deviate a bit from you guys. Not that you didn't have any physical health conditions that were healed while you were there. I'm not sure, but um, I think with any program, I'm a little dubious. I think when we're talking timelines in the nervous system, like 21 days is you're just getting started. You're dipping your toe in, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, I think a lot of these programs, it's just like, okay, you're kind of like living a new way of life, and then you're released back home, and you kind of have to commit, to whatever it is that you learned, and
you, can I interrupt you real quick? I mean,
yeah,
what you get is a tool bag full of tools when you go home. So I'm just right back home right now, really, from the last session. And all of the stressors and anxieties that I faced that somehow led me to the bridge, I'm still facing them. It's just I'm facing them now with tools that I didn't have in my bag.
Yeah.
yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I think, part of my hesitation, like I said, with any program, not with the bridge specifically, but any program. I mean, and better a program than no program, I suppose, because otherwise I'm just left to my own devices, which is obviously not working.
Google.
Right? Yeah, right. um, I think, yeah, part of the problem is like I'm pretty well versed in like mind body medicine, and like I've done a lot of like I see a somatic therapist already. Like I get acupuncture. I already work out. I do breath work or meditation or whatever. Like these are not super new concepts to me, but I'm not doing them, right. Like I'm doing all my like obsessions and compulsions, and so it's like being introduced to these concepts is probably not going to help me a ton. It's like I kind of have to go somewhere where I fundamentally change as a person. So that's kind of like, okay, how do I get into a program and actually like live differently for long enough and have enough of a profound impact on my nervous system and my healing to where like I can go home and I'm motivated to do the things instead of doing the things that I'm doing right now, which is keeping me unwell. um So yeah, I guess like, um, you know, what was it in the program that was really helpful for you other than like gathering tools?
Yeah, and Megan and Joe, before you answer that, so what I'm getting, so the question I would pose, just to reinforce what Ricky's asking, is someone like Rikki and probably like both of you, you've done all these things.
Mhm.
You spent the years of therapy. You might be doing acupuncture or chiropractic or breath work, like Rikki says. Um, so yeah, what is the difference? What would you say? Um, how is the bridge different? Like doing it at the bridge versus doing it at home, and why is there a difference if there was? What's your answer to that?
Hmm. You want me to answer
Yeah,
first?
both. Yeah, both of you. I think if you have a just a thought, and it's okay if you don't.
So, so I hit spots in myself that I haven't touched in many, many years with the different modalities that came at me. And I have to say, I've probably emotionally was sobbing more at the bridge than I have in my entire 63 years of life, because I recognized a lot of different things. A lot of the modalities I have experienced prior to coming to the bridge, I think that the folks there have certain ways of making it work for you. Not everything works for every single person, that's for sure. For me, the somatic breathing took me to a
Yeah.
place that was just, with Lori, it, it took me to a place that I've not seen. I was at the bottom of a very dark well, and I couldn't see out of that well for a long time. But her version of somatic breathing really brought me out of it, and as well as the different, conversations and different types of therapy with the stones and the massage. They're not new concepts, but I think the fact that there's such a variety, someone shows you or it comes up out of you that maybe never came out before in the same way. So, am I making any sense with what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, breath work can be like profound and so helpful. I mean, even just in like one session, especially if it's like lengthy. Just as an aside, if you like breath work and you want to continue, the YouTube channel Breathe with Sandy is
Yep.
amazing. You watch him?
Yep.
Yeah,
I
he's great.
have.
So Rikki,
So,
for me, like there's a little bit of like you're gonna be exposed to like so much there. I deal with anxiety. Like I was a dual major in college in psychology and interpersonal communication. I literally majored in or minored in it next to business. But the things I walked out of there from are things that I didn't think. Like I had one of the very first things Tyler Burton said to me when I got there is he sat down, he's like, "You're intense. Like you're intense." And and he was like, "Your whole aura and your whole energy," because I was so uptight. I just felt like I was wound so tight going in. And then
Hmm.
coming home now, I never in a million years, like that whole brown bowl back there is full of crystals. Like I now go to Reiki therapy,
Yeah.
and meditation for me was like a meme. Like I didn't understand what it was. Like that wasn't who I was. And then coming home, I like 180'd into like how I feel and like look at things. And like the toolbox that I thought I would go to is not at all. There's so many different things because it all depends on the day too. It's like I'm dealing with this today. Like what the tool that worked on Monday might not be the tool that works on Thursday, but now I know the different tools. Before I only had this many. My toolbox was just this small. Um, and now it's bigger. And probably the biggest thing is I started falling in love with things again because of my experience there. I fell in love with food again, which has been good and bad. I put on about 10 pounds now, Brad, since I've left. Thank you very much to the bridge. But I am almost entirely gluten free, but I love food now and I love cooking and I love gardening again and I get excited. I don't even care about my weight gain because I am just in love with that part of my life again and I'm confident with myself. Um, I am reading again. Like I couldn't get my brain to slow down enough to like read a book. And now I'm like reading again and I'm sleeping again. Like for anyone who hasn't done that, like, and I think that you can't put a price tag on that kind of stuff. Like my relationship is better the way I like am with my husband. Like the way I am as a mom, like it's just, you can't. And a lot of that isn't stuff that they necessarily taught me. It's like experiences I had and like things I felt when I was there. And I did learn some of it, but you come back and that's how you apply it. And coming back is not easy. It is not a 21-day fix. The 21 days is just the very beginning. And Joe is still in the very beginning of his, what he's going to go through. But those first 2 months, like I know a lot of the places, like you go online and they advertise like aftercare, like we'll be here for you. But like the bridge really is like, but when you come back, just make sure you go to your sessions. I still go to every single Wednesday night. I sit on there and I have made friends with people from sessions before me, like Ashley and Leslie and Rachel and Tanisha. Like they're all my good friends now. Like I can't not go on Wednesday night to class, or it's not really class, I guess what we do, or it's session, but I feel like it's class. I learn something every week.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
and then I
they're
do
great.
this. This is another way for me to connect with my community. And I've started like things that he wouldn't have done before. Like I wouldn't have walked into Soul Connection store here in my town before the bridge. Like I might have driven by it with like curiosity, but now I've gone in and now I've made like a whole group of friends in there and I go to Reiki circles now once a month with them. And then I've met Melinda through that. And now I've met some of the other local farmers in the area and I started networking through there. So it's changed my life in so many ways.
Yeah. Well, it's a legit question. And when Rikki, when you're asking that, I was sitting there thinking, yeah, why not just stay home? If I'm doing all of these things, how different can it be? Well, and I think you answered your own question a little bit that something isn't hitting, right?
Mhm.
Something's not creating that spark or that change. Yeah, there's going to be stuff that you already know. You're going to hear, Tyler Burton and Sierra talk about neuroplasticity, and you're gonna say, yeah, I know all that, but sometimes it's just said it a different way that resonates differently based on how it's delivered in the setting that you're in. And so clearly there's something that's not quite landing, and that does land when people come to the bridge. So this is not an uncommon uh, feeling or belief that someone has. Like I've done all these things. I've been in therapy for years. I've done this for years. And then they come to the bridge and they go, it's different. It's something is different. And I don't know. I'm going to be honest, Rikki. I don't know that I can sit here and tell you exactly pinpoint what it is. My feeling is it's just because that you're out of your environment. Number one, you're not coming home from a class or a therapy session and right back to being on your own or in a stressful environment. You're inundated with support and friends and understanding and just a different environment. And then, as we've kind of talked about the polyvagal theory, that social engagement, I think the social aspect of it is super important. It's not like you're going to a business conference where you have breakout sessions and then you retreat to your hotel room. It's not like that at all. Like Megan says, and Joe says, these become your friends, and these relationships you form feed into making that major difference between you doing these things at home versus doing them in a different location like the bridge. I hope that makes sense. That's probably the best answer I could give.
Oh, for
Is
sure.
it
I mean, yeah,
okay?
part of it is like I'm not doing them at home, right? Like
Yeah.
I have kind of said this where I'm like I have to be immersed with other people where it's like I know I can meditate. Like I'm not meditating. I know I can do breath work. I'm not doing breath work. Like I'm,
Yeah.
I'm so anxious that I'm like, well, what's the point? So
Yeah.
then I definitely co-regulate with other people where I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I got other nervous systems around me. It's not just me. And especially, being around other people who are struggling with, some of the same things I'm struggling with. Like it's not
Yeah.
just me.
That's what you find in the bridge that I don't think you can find anywhere else. When I walked in, I was extremely skeptical. Um, I divulged to Brad one of the things that was going through my mind, and I really don't want to talk about it, but from flying from Pittsburgh all the way to, I flew into the Vegas airport. That was the most difficult 4 hours of my life with what my mind was playing with. But the point I'm getting at is you're going to be with people that they all understand what you're going through, and
Judgment free.
it's
Like,
it's
Yeah.
finally like, oh my gosh, someone knows. I'm not losing my mind. These
mhm.
people are all understanding and know what I'm talking about. And everyone's going through different things, even though they're so similar. I saw fragile people that were strong when they left. I saw, someone come in a wheelchair that was hiking with us and climbing up rocks, and it's just we all became a family. And you know we even had a couple of guys write a song about our group
That's
of
true.
people.
That's true.
I
Joe,
um
love that.
I was going to make a comment of our other Joe. We had two Joes,
yeah, yeah.
and Joe he's a um, just short of being a licensed MD. He had some trouble with his uh, national exams. But what I saw in him, and Joe, I think you'll agree, and Rikki, I'm just thinking about you because I can just tell that you do have an extensive knowledge base. And one of the things I think that really helped Joe in his movement forward was his ability to connect and to serve and help other people in his process. Now, not that we would ever ask anybody to take that role because we don't. You're in your own journey, but just inherently his confidence and his self-love, and his processing of some of his issues, I just remember noting that he was so kind and compassionate to other people that ended up being something that served him. And it was by his choice. It wasn't thrust on
Yep.
him. And we didn't ask him to do that. We wouldn't want him to do it if he wasn't comfortable. It was something that just happened organically. But the growth in him that I saw just by being able to support others with his level of knowledge, because he didn't interrupt lectures or class. He didn't try to show off and say,
Mm-mm.
"Hey, I'm Joe. I know this, that, and the other, and you should try this." He was there to support everybody and even to jump in and answer questions. He was just a highly, highly intelligent guy. But that was the other thing that's great. That's the other thing great about the bridge is that social connectedness that you lose yourself in a sense serving other people just by being there to support, and you just lose yourself and your mind starts to shift and you just the self-love starts to grow and your confidence starts to grow and you start feeling different than you felt before. I don't know why Joe came to mind. He just did because that just kind of reminded me of that. So
That's exactly what he did. There were times he saw where I wasn't grasping something, where I was looking at it and he could tell that I was questioning it in my mind. And after it was all, he'd come up to me and go, Joe, Joe would talk to the other Joe. Joe would say to me, you're stuck on this particular part of the comment. And I was like, yes. And he said, see if you understand it better if I explain it this way. And then he'd explain it his way. And sometimes it set off bells and whistles. Other
mhm,
times I'd say, I still don't get it, Joe.
mhm,
But yes, he did that with everyone. He was so helpful,
mhm.
to a lot of people who were struggling.
So that's a big difference between, knowing these things and not being able to apply them at home, but when you come here, all of a sudden it just kind of blossoms and it becomes different. What else, Rikki? What else do you have?
What did you guys find in the program that was not very helpful for you?
It's a good question. It's okay to
Sure.
answer it.
We were too damn busy. I mean, it was nonstop from the time we woke, or from the time I woke up. I'd be over with Brad having coffee at 6:30 in the morning, and it didn't stop until 8, 9 o'clock at night. I was
Yeah,
exhausted.
yeah, but
Mine honestly, and I it's hard to say this because I like them so much. I really like Dave and Grant a lot. But honestly, for me, even though I was going for anxiety and I had stuff, I think the talk therapy was the least helpful of all of it because I already have a therapist at home, Kathy, who I love, I've connected with, like she knows me. So I enjoyed my conversations with Dave and Grant, but I don't Dr. Tate was a little bit different because he is he really touched like my spiritual side. But I think for me it was honestly the talk therapy. So I kind of started, and that's where I think I focused in on so much of the other stuff because I didn't have that in my life. And then coming home, I've been able to bring that stuff with me. So please
would
don't
that
tell
stuff
them that,
be
Brad, because I
the
really like them. Yeah.
No,
And they're
no,
amazing. They're
yeah.
absolutely amazing. So if you don't have, and a lot of the people from, and I don't know, Joe, this might be yours, like some of our group are still seeing them regularly outside of the
Yeah.
program. Like a lot of people end up doing regular therapy with Grant and Dave because they're phenomenal. I just happen to already have a phenomenal person in my life to talk with. So,
yeah,
I
I hear you.
appreciate that.
Talk therapy only gets you so far anyway, right? Like
yeah.
there's yeah, I think that's it's helpful, but at least for me, I'm like I don't think it's I'm not missing, the processing or the right words for somebody to say. It's like I'm so in my head, I'm not in my body like really ever. And talk therapy doesn't fix that.
Yeah.
So
It was
I
the
I,
stuff
I
that
hear
got
you.
me out of my head and got me out of talking that changed me. So,
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean meditation and breath work are, those alone are profound. Um so I'm
well,
glad
and Rikki, where's home for you?
I'm in Denver.
Denver. Okay, so you're kind of like Utah kind of has a similar vibe to Utah or
Hmm.
Utah and Colorado do. I think that was a big thing for me too. Like from Missouri, like I feel like I'm surrounded by like farmers and cowboys and for lack of a better word in Wright City Hoosiers. So then I was getting out to Utah and I felt like I was more around like earthy people and but then you're there with people that are going to be in your session are from all over the country, everywhere. Like every single, none of us were from the same state. That was the best part. So you start soaking in these like different opinions and ways of life and from the other people. And that's also what changed me. I felt like I was a lot more open-minded coming home, which I'm glad I left Missouri for that experience because I think if I would have stayed here, I would have been with people who are, I'm already in this environment and I would have continued and I always joke that it's Missouri Megan versus Utah Megan because that was a big part of what changed me too. Coming back, just exposing myself to like that different part of life. And I don't, that's hard to explain, but maybe that makes sense.
Hey,
So,
I'm in Pittsburgh,
yeah,
so
Yeah, you
it's
traveled a
it's
ways.
270 odd days a year of cloudy skies.
yeah.
There's almost never blue skies. Poverty is everywhere. Everything's old and falling apart. Um, and there's a huge section of very bitter people that the steel mills closed down 50 years ago.
Hmm.
And like I said, it's 50 years ago. Get on with your life already. It's not going to open. Um, but then we come to the bridge and there's blue skies and everything's clean and everything's new and
Beautiful. It is so beautiful. Like,
and the staff at the bridge are such wonderful people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just everything
The
about it.
personalities are of all the instructors, everyone, there's not a single person I didn't just adore. And like leaving there is that's one of the hardest parts is like just saying goodbye to everyone.
Yeah.
It's
Brad,
uh
Brad, I told you I'm probably coming out there in the next 2 or 3 weeks again, and I'm bringing my wife, and we're gonna go look at real estate.
Okay.
And I, I'll buy a winter home there because it's just so wonderful there.
Yeah, Utah
Well,
is
yeah, sorry, Rick. I told you, Joe, that you would be the first I could think of at least 8 to 9 people that live here currently that were in our sessions. Go ahead, Ricky.
Oh no, I was just saying, yeah, Utah is really truly beautiful. I mean, Colorado is breathtaking too, but
Yeah,
the landscape in Utah is really bar none.
the
yeah. So
program they seem like they've been doing or it's not seen you guys have been doing it long enough, Brad, too. Like they do a really good job of shaping the day, Ricky, like with time where like Joe said, they keep you really busy because they've done this so many times. Like they know how to frame out the day and they take you on the best hikes because they've done all the hikes. Like so all the hikes are a little bit different, but they have different qualities and like they'll frame your day up where you'll go on this beautiful hike and then you'll have this fun activity and then they'll like strategically put you in like if they know like where you're at in your week like oh Megan it's how do I say this Megan's almost too high, we've got to bring her down, let's throw her in a hard therapy session and really break her for a minute and then they like kind of break you and then build you back up, but you that's like part of the like you're it's a constant like roller coaster when you're there and everyone's going through it at the same time. But they literally uh, like structure your whole day and they structure it to the person as you're there and they'll change your schedule on you midday too. And they'll come to you and say, you know what, we changed this because we just feel like this is going to be a better setup for the next few days. After they get to know you and they see kind of like how you're going too.
yeah, we've done
Yeah,
that.
that's great that it's flexible because yeah, I'm sure
But
there's
they don't take like don't be that person who goes in and is like I don't want any talk therapy, I just want to do this, because you need to try everything, try it all,
Yeah,
because that is where the change happens is and go to the talks in the like the morning, the sessions in the evening, like after you're done eating, like those were some that was my favorite part of every day was the evenings. And those they call them lectures. They're not really lectures. It's just a collaborative group sitting on a bunch of comfy couches, talking and hanging out, and learning together. But
yeah. Megan and Joe, would you say this is my impression? I could be wrong, and you're welcome to tell me if to go kick rocks. For me, my observation tells me that more often than not, it's the things that you least expected to work or be related to you that tend to oftentimes be the things that really make the biggest difference,
100%.
which is really crazy.
I
It,
never thought
so,
I'd be buying rocks from a store. Never,
so
never in a million years. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
here I am. I'm kind of a self-made guy. I've always believed that I can do anything. Doesn't matter what you put in front of me, I'm gonna accomplish it. I went through things at the bridge that made me realize that, oh my gosh, the last 2 years I've been fighting myself, and it was right in front of my face. And someone there said something very simple, or we did something very simple, and it was life changing, almost at a snap of a finger. And here I was stuck for a couple years just to,
You find personalities there too that kind of like mimic like it was kind of like I was playing like house while I was there because I was like this person is kind of like this person in my life and I'm gonna let this teach me how to well one of the people in our group literally if I could have taken my mother-in-law with me and like she was there with me. And that was not an easy relationship before I went. And like coming back, it is a completely different relationship with her because I feel like I learned how to like embrace it. And I just, um, I'll cry talking about that. Like that is probably one of the most beneficial things that came out of the program. Like you start being around these people that like teach you skills to come back and better deal with people in your life. So, and how to construct it. I'm gonna cry talking about it. So,
Right away.
yeah. So,
Yeah, these were great groups. They're all very different. They're all great. Um, yeah, close friendships. I love it.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for sharing your experience. This has been incredibly helpful, and I appreciate you both taking your time, and Brad for you being here too.
Of course. Well,
Rikki,
Rikki,
if I could tell you one
yep.
thing is don't take my word for it or Megan's. Talk to more
No.
people that have been to the bridge.
Have you been
Yeah.
watching the YouTube videos and the testimonials?
Yeah, some of them.
Okay. That was where I got into those, especially the YouTube ones. Those are I really liked those.
That
So,
was Dr. Brooks interview, the longer one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the
Yeah,
ones
for
that
sure.
were kind of like my final, like that was, it was actually one of them that was like, all right, I'm doing it. Here's my credit card, take the number before I change my mind.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I've got her talking. I had her talk to Kim. You guys, I don't know. Kim,
she
she's
does
been on.
Wednesday nights. Yeah.
She's
She's
been
so
on.
sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. And then what about Molly? Have you Molly,
King.
have you seen yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
from up north.
Yeah.
I reached out to her today. Rikki, I'm gonna try to get you hooked up with her too. Um,
Thank you
I
so
so
like
much.
Molly.
yeah, yeah. So no pressure. Listen, we just want you to, let this kind of become a big guide for you and just kind of follow what you feel. Yes, the testimonials are awesome, but to a point, you get to a point where the website is a website, you know, and to have this opportunity to talk to people and come on the Zoom, we're hoping that was helpful for you, that overcame some fear or skepticism. We hope we see you this session or maybe another session. If not, just know you got friends in Pennsylvania and all across the country and
Missouri. Yeah.
Missouri and Utah. So we've got your back no matter what.
Thank you
Yeah, you
guys,
can
truly.
feel free to contact me anytime you want.
Same.
Thank you,
You know,
Joe. Thank
Yeah.
you,
and,
Megan.
and and listen, I'll put my wife right here beside me, and she could tell you if it's made any difference in me or not.
I
Mhm.
mean, I can tell Joe. I mean, you don't go into one of these programs because you feel good, and I can tell that you are like genuinely at ease, and you see, I'm coming from somebody who's very dysregulated, just physically, emotionally, whatever. Like I can see and appreciate regulated nervous systems, and y'all have regulated nervous systems.
Love it.
So
Love it.
Well,
Thank you, Rikki.
all I can say is Brad has wonderful dad humor. By the way,
I just heard my
he tells
son
the
dump an
best
entire
dad
thing of
jokes.
Legos in the other room. I'm just like,
I do have a shirt that I don't think I wore it during your session, but it says "Dad jokes are how I roll." EYE.
oh,
oh,
I don't know how I've never heard of that, but that's amazing.
That's a good one. I guys found that on the internet somewhere. Now I've got to come up with grandpa jokes because I'm a grandpa. So
Oh my gosh,
oh.
congratulations. Yeah, what's a grandpa joke? I don't even know.
I'm gonna have to figure it out. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
invent it. I'll let you go on this. I tell people all the time that I invented the selfie and the selfie stick. So back in the Joe, you'll appreciate this. Back it was probably in the early 70s. We had a Polaroid camera,
Yeah,
and I'd take it in our walk-in pantry and I'd set it up on the shelf, and I would take a yardstick. So I'd close the door and I'd take a yardstick so I could press the button. And
that is cool.
I would take pictures of myself. So I developed this. I invented the selfie and the selfie stick. But
Boy,
I wish
You
I wish
missed.
I would had the
Yeah.
foresight to do something with it.
yep, yep, pretty cool.
Anyway,
That was, yeah.
well,
You'd be
thank you,
sitting on
Rikki.
billions.
Megan, Joe, thank you so much. And Rikki, if you feel like you want to have conversations with them, privately, I'd be glad with their permission to give you their phone number as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Okay.
Rikki, just so you know, this was not pre-planned for me to be on here. Brad asked me 10 minutes before you guys were ready to
That's
come on.
that's
I was
true.
mowing my lawn. I was mowing my lawn, which was a nightmare to boot, and I was happy to stop doing it.
Rikki, I'll
I've
send
done
you screenshots of the text from Brad last night saying, "Hey, do you mind?"
yeah, I've done that. I've done that a couple of times with Megan, just like last minute said, hey, you want to jump on a Zoom tonight? So
Yep.
anyway, all right. Thank you all. Really appreciate it. We'll talk to you all soon.
Thanks.
Thank
Have a
you,
great
guys.
day.
Hi, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Rikki.